I didn't meditate before. And one of the things that you said is that meditation is listening versus prayer being asking. So I prayed a lot, but I didn't meditate and listen as much. And that's been very impactful. And it's really helped me to mitigate stress. Now, it's always a challenge for me to be able to stay ahead of the stressful life that I live, but it's a good tool that I now have that I didn't have before. The Hallow Catholic meditation app has been really good. I know the UCLA meditation app for bedtime. If anything, I was having some challenges with sleeping well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's helped me to sleep better at night, have more restful sleep, and then wake up more refreshed and focused in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you said is that I need to center myself. So make a plan and put it on paper, and then things get much easier. And that's very true. So in this role, there's been a ton of times where it was very chaotic. And just saying, okay, what are the next steps, and putting it on paper and aligning with the team on here's the plan and here's how we're going to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And leadership too has been really important. And then the last piece is making time to recharge. So making sure that I'm thoughtful about taking a break, and that doing nothing is okay. Actually, doing nothing is more powerful than continuously being busy and checking that to-do list.
Yes.
And I think this weekend even was proof of that. Like, I got the things done that have been on my to-do list for the last week, but it didn't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on how you approach it. So if you approach it as a to-do list and I have to get it done right now, versus enjoying the moment and just being present and getting things done as you can actually accomplish the same amount. And I'm more productive if I take that break as well.
Mm-hmm.
From a program standpoint, well, there's two things. There's one from a career perspective and there's one from a home perspective. So having the kids at home for homeschool for a year was probably the craziest thing that I've ever done and the most stress that I've ever been under. But being more mindful and helping my kids center themselves as well, because coaching is one of my strengths that I'm passionate about. I'm grateful that I was able to have that relationship with my kids. Honestly, I think that they're going to be in a better place long term because of it. And I don't think they realize it, but even those conversations about your strengths and what you're grateful for, those were helpful to me as well and made me a better person. So that's probably my number one thing that I'm thankful for. We talk a lot about blessings now, which
Mm-hmm.
is good. And then um, I went through some pretty stressful times. So when we discontinued my program with outcome-based pricing, that came as a surprise. And it was a very challenging time for my team because it meant that my team didn't have jobs anymore. And so that really forced me to dig deep into what was important to me and how I could approach this challenge while making sure that I was looking out for the best interests of the team. So I was very proud of how in all of this chaos, I thoughtfully represented my team well. And I fought for not only making sure that they had a role within the organization, but that the work that they had done was not lost. And so we were able to showcase that to all of North America product supply. We were then able to showcase it to the global product supply organization. And I would say that my team is being actively sought out for their experience and their accomplishments on this project.
Mm-hmm.
And that wouldn't have happened if I would have just been a victim and said, oh, they've taken our project away and we're all going to lose our jobs now. That's not the case. Actually, I never would have had this opportunity in global if I wouldn't have had those conversations. And that took a lot of courage to even reach out to the people that I reached out to, but has definitely been very rewarding. So those
Awesome.
are the top two. There's a couple notable things in there as well. So the Owning Your Career workshop, that was something that I've always been passionate about, but never had considered making it a workshop. My mentee definitely pushed me to do that. I didn't come up with that on my own, but I also don't think I would have had the courage without this program to do it. And so now this is a workshop that's being used for her region on a quarterly basis, but also nationally. So I'm in charge of workplace culture and events, and we'll be having Owning Your Career workshops nationally for all of the people in the field. So that was really good. I received the Top Performer Award, which was only the top 1% to 2% of employees get this recognition.
Wow.
We did the strengths training with our kids. I did the compensation assessment with HR. So I never dreamed that I would have went to HR and said, okay, I want to understand where my pay is and how this compares to where I could be with my next role. And then I put, this sounds small, but it's a really big deal. I completely unplugged during Christmas break. I was very intentional about my time with my family.
Mhm.
And I would say that it's the best family Christmas that we've ever had because of that. And
Wow.
I was very proud that we were able to do that as a family.
Mhm.
So, whenever I joined this program and my manager told me about it, I said that I wanted coaching on coaching.
Mhm.
And what I discovered in my assessment is that that's actually my biggest strength. And I didn't need coaching on coaching. I needed coaching on taking time for myself
Mhm.
and just not being caught up in being busy all the time and being more present. And
Mhm.
that's made me a more powerful coach.
Yes.
And taking credit for the work that I have done. So even though I haven't managed people, I've definitely had some challenging projects and challenging situations throughout my career where I've had to be a coach, and it's been a harder situation to be a coach than even if I was their direct manager. So taking credit for that too.
Mhm.
We've already talked about doing nothing being the greatest activity. I have that one underlined, that's for sure. One of my favorites. The next one I have is authenticity has power. And so I think one of the reasons why I had so much clarity in the conversations that I had with leadership after my project was closed and talking about my career path is that I felt empowered to be myself.
Mhm.
I didn't second guess anything anymore. And I guess I'd reached a breaking point in my career where, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen didn't scare me anymore. I didn't care because I was doing what was right, and
Mhm.
I found a ton of power in that. The perfect role activity was really good. That helped me prepare for the career conversations that I had out of the global presentation from the work that we had done.
Mhm.
And then I also reached out to people that I hadn't reached out to in a really long time to recenter myself on who I was and what my strengths were. So people from my past in school and in other mentors throughout my career. And that was a really good reflection, and it helped to reinforce that I was on the right path.
Mhm.
You said never think that you're not ready yet to be a coach. Either you are or you're not. You're making a difference in other people's lives, and that's very true. You
Mhm.
mentioned the Byron Katie activity, and I like this a lot because the area that I work in can get really emotional only because it takes extreme agility in new business models.
Mhm.
And so stepping back and in this virtual world, not making assumptions about what other people thought, but asking yourself, is this true? Is this really true? What are my current perceptions and what's actually bothering me?
Mhm.
Because in a lot of cases, if I would just sit down and write out the plan and the facts versus focusing on the emotions, there's a ton of power in that. And it gets you out of the vicious circle of assuming, because at the end of the day, you don't know what anyone else is going through, and we've all got our crosses to bear.
Yeah.
So we just need to focus on the facts and how we power through as a team and not get caught up in why people are doing things or saying certain things or how they're saying things.
Mhm.
So that was good. Determining that a PhD probably was not the best next step for me. So I could go and spend all of my time getting a PhD, but in reality, I could also spend that exact same time getting more coaching experience that would be more powerful long term.
Mhm.
Radiate love, don't absorb negativity, and pray for God to help you. So don't focus on those negative things and take them in. Let it just bounce back off and focus on the positive every day and what you're thankful for. The
Mhm.
other thing that I really have to focus on is not trying to figure out everything. So even in meditating, I was
Hmm.
trying to perfect the process. Why am I not seeing a purple light versus a red light? It doesn't matter. You have to just pause and let it be in God's hands and understand that you're not going to understand everything, and that's okay. Practice more acceptance, love people for all of their flaws and shortcomings. Don't take that negative energy on, because where you're focusing your attention, your energy is flowing. We are often becoming human doings, not human beings. And so stop focusing on the things you need to do, but just be thinking about what you want to create. So a lot of times you think about what's negative before you go to bed, like what didn't go right today. I think I spend a lot more time now thinking about what I'm thankful for and what my goals are. And then I wake up in the morning with a lot more positive energy and focus compared to everything that I wasn't doing right before. Depression is lack of expression. You need to express yourself by cooking and painting and being quiet to listen to your soul and reflecting back on what you've done. So take credit for your wins and don't focus on the negative things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, meditation is top of my list. I want to continue exercising, but not exercising to hold myself accountable for 30 minutes every day or X workout every day, like exercising more for my mental health
Mm-hmm.
versus trying to lose 20 pounds. Unplugging for family time, so being very intentional about having time with my kids and focusing on them, continuing to coach others through one-on-one mentoring, workshops, and community activities. So I'm going to take a much stronger position in mentoring, especially women in agriculture, to make sure that the experiences that I've had don't go unused, I guess is the best way to say it, and that I'm able to share the learnings that I've had in my career with them.
Mm-hmm.
Deep breathing activities. I have my breathe every 3 hours for 2 to 5 minutes sticky
Good.
note on my monitor. I'll continue to do that. I also have the activity down here about I'm releasing this person. So I will let you go the way you want to be. I will release my expectation of you. So trying not to have negative thoughts or negative expectations for other people, but really focusing on me and the positive that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I am concerned about moving on to this global role with people management experience, which is what I've always wanted without having you here with me, but we're going to make sure that that happens. So I said having help and outside perspective personally is also a concern. So having this safe space to not only talk about my job, but also my personal life was really important. I've always said that you should bring your whole self to work. And with this program, I thought I was supposed to 100% focus on work things. I've never had a program that really focused on 100% of me. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of power in that. So I really appreciate the fact that it was holistic, especially during COVID, because it's had more impact on me than any other program that I've been a part of from a leadership standpoint. You have to be at peace and know that you can't control everything. You have to put it in God's hands.
Yes, yes. Loved it.